how many of you here learned BaZi before? Type yes in the comment box right now. So I want to see who you are. Yeah, this is if some of you are very new here, you might ask, right, why Iverson show this chart here? Because this is a BaZi chart for 2020. So whenever I mention a BaZi chart, means that this is the energy map for 2020, right? So from an energy map, we can so-called forecast, what are the kind of energy, that actually affect us, not only in our own country, but globally as well. Yeah. So this is a big picture. It's an overview of everyone, right? This is a big picture here. So it's just talking about I would say that the bird view of everything from the top. So if you want to look at specific analysis, you need to look back at your own chart, right? Because this is not your chart. This one is your this one is the year chart. It's 2020. So which means it affects everyone in the whole world. So if we look at this chart here, some of you are very new. You might not actually know how to read this. Don't worry. Yeah, today I'm not going to actually ask you to memorize any of this. I just want to show you this is one of the tools that we use to actually when we actually read the BaZi. When we read the BaZi like every year. So when we do some annual analysis, this is the one we are looking at. So right now, just to tell you a few so-called general guideline how you're going to read this. So whenever we read a chart, so we always look at this one first, right? Because this one represent the reference point, and then if under the day, this is the first point here. So if we want to, why? Because the moment you know where is the reference point, the rest of the character in the chart you have meaning, right? Then you know what represent what represent what, because you have a reference point. So if you look at the chart, if you normally when we look at so-called the global economy chart, so we always like to ask for one thing first, right? So where is the wealth element? Don't you think so? Right. So this is the one people are normally asking, right? Where is the wealth opportunity for this year, or what is the strategy here? So it's very simple. If you learn BaZi before, any elements that you counter is your wealth element, right? So since this year, the self is the fire element. So fire counter metal, right? So therefore, metal would be the wealth element for the year of 2020. Okay, so maybe you need to check your chart whether you have metal element or not. If you have metal, higher wealth opportunity for you. Okay, yeah, because it's stated in the chart, right? So now, whether we can actually derive more information out of this chart, let me just share with you. Since the metal element, represent the metal represent the money, right? So it represent the money. So now let's look at where the metal element is. So you see one here, this metal, right? One metal, and then another metal is here, and then another metal is here. All right. So how many metal element? Total, there are 3 wealth element in the chart, right? There are three metal elements in the chart. So which means that this year, is there any wealth opportunity for everyone? The answer is yes. Right? There will be a problem if there are no earth element. I know that a lot of people might think right now, everyone in a lockdown period, how can we make money? Actually, a lot of people are making money right now. Those people can make money is those people that can change, according to the situation. They can adapt, or they're prepared earlier. Right, so this is the thing we need to look at. So since now these are the 3 wealth element that we have, right? So let's look at the one on top. The first one here. If you look at the chart, this would be the first element, right? So this first element got whether we need to check whether this earth element is or wealth element is strong or not depends on one thing: whether this element is on top or at the bottom. So if you look at the first wealth element here, so is it at the top or at the bottom? The first element. So please answer on the chat box. Is it the top or bottom element? Type it there. Right. So is it top or bottom? The one that I just circled right now. So okay, I see a lot of top. Okay, now you know. So now let me explain to you what does it mean top. Top means that something that is just a perception, or it's just I would say it's just there, but there are no substance. Right. So which means that it's more on impression or mirage, so at the top, right? So there are one in the at the year, and you realize that there are another wealth element here. This is number 2, and then there's also another element here is number 3, right? So do you realize that number 2 and 3 are at the bottom, located in the bottom, right? Don't you think it's located in the bottom? Yes, right? So if you have a choice, yeah, you cannot choose both. Let's say you have a choice. Would you rather choose the top one, which is not solid, it's just a superficial, it's easily taken away, or you would like to choose the bottom one where it's have more substance, more quantity, or more stronger? At the moment they are strong, which means it's not easy to be taken away, right? It's sustainable. All of us want sustainable income, right? So which one do you prefer? Of course you will say both, but if you can only choose one, would you rather choose the top or the bottom? Bottom, right? Yeah, that one makes sense, correct, right? So therefore, when we actually look at this chart here, since they are, let me clear this. So since there are hold on, let me just write this. So since there are 3 elements, 1, 2, 3 wealth element, don't you think that this one might not be the one we wanted? Right? Because at the top, right? So it's easy to be taken away. So don't you think these are the 2 we are looking at or not? Yeah, this is where the wealth, the chart actually tell you where the wealth can be found, So there are 2 of it. Okay, so once we knew this, then what we're going to do? So which means that now the focal point will be on the hour and the day, right? Yeah, because the wealth element got more substance here, or not, right? So there are 2 here. So which means that if you're talking about if you want to generate more wealth for 2020, don't you think we need to look at day and hour? Does it make sense? And when you study BaZi, right, month and year represent external, I mean office or international market, or big companies. Where else day and hour represent a small business, home-based business, or freelancer. Right? So if you look at the chart, who are the people we're going to make a lot of money? Is it external or internal? Right? So let me ask you right now. Is it internal or external? Yeah, where is the source of money coming from in 2020? Type it on the box. Very simple. Okay. All internal, right? Now you know. So do you realize that nowadays, a lot of due to lockdown, everything, don't you think a lot of money are generated inside, it's not outside? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you focus on outside, which means that you're focusing on this one, right? Yeah, this one is only at the top. It's not stable. You can lose the job, right? Because on top means that is easily taken away, but at the bottom means that it's hard to taken away. So don't you think, right? If you actually knew this chart earlier, you probably already prepared. Yeah, there's something because the chart clearly shows that internal are much more better than external in terms of wealth. Right. So if your job right now can actually perform in work or a home-based office or even trading, like a lot of people that trade from home, right? Or freelancer, or anything, or coaching via online or e-commerce perhaps, don't you think you stand a better chance to make more money this year? Right, so this is something that you can actually look into, right? BaZi Chart is interesting or not, right? That's how we actually know, these are the things here that they already tell you a lot of wealth source are coming from internal, right? They tell a generic one, right? So it's up to you to do your own interpretation because all of you here, you do different thing, different profession, right? Yeah, so that's why you need to relate back to all of you, because this one represents global. Yeah, that's where the global energy is, right? So which means that more people going to freelancing style or home-based business or remote business, right? Which means that they can do business remotely. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. Okay, so far so good, right? So if a lot of people think, hey, I'm doing something different. I'm doing like maybe you're doing a sales job that you need to be outside. Maybe you in a car showroom, or you're doing aviation, right? Then you say, okay, then I cannot use this chart. Not really, right? Don't you think you can do something during your part time? Right? Can you do investing when or your second job are not at home? Yes, right? So which means that you actually can apply this no matter what job you are. I'm not asking you to convert your job into or force it into a home base, because some job often obviously cannot. For example, right? If you're doing if you're doing aviation industry, right? You're doing traveling industry. Of course, you need people to go out or not, right? You cannot say I want to convert this into a home base so people can travel by just looking at the video. Yeah, that one is not possible or not, right? So which means that you might actually need to actually learn a new skill, or maybe trading or investment or anything you can operate. It could be a secondary income, just in case, right? Because if your huge income right now depend on external, which means that you are using the year, right? The yang element here, the earth element, which means not stable. Convert to something that you can generate money at home. So the first question you might need to ask yourself is, what can I do? What skill I should learn that actually I can make money while staying at home, right? So the chart already tell you clearly, right? Whether you want to follow this or not, it's up to you, right? Some people stay at home, they're still watching Netflix all day long, right? Of course, that one won't help, because here talking about the wealth is inside. Yeah, so the chart here is not a hard one, and we already seen the best part here is you can actually, this chart is available even a year before or 10 years before one. Let's say you look at this chart from 2019. Don't you know that these are the part that you already see it? You might not able to predict the virus part. I don't think anyone could, but at least now you know that there's something to do with home-based business. Don't you think so? Right? Just by this piece of information alone, you can do so many things already, right? So I hope that I just share with you a very simple, guided way of actually reading the chart, right? So is it simple right now? Is it clear to understand? Right? So if you like this way of learning, yeah, you just type the word yes. So I know that you like this. I can use this perspective to teach you parts. Yeah, or you want a more simpler way, I just tell the answer, I'm fine with it as well. So what is your take on this? Do you like this style or not? While learning some technical and understand the chart, if you like this style, type the word yes. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay, so this is the how we actually read the chart. And if some of the advanced student, right, you also can look at the whole chart here is since the wealth element is inside, right? So since the wealth element is inside, so which means that this element and this element also a combination, and this element also combine become metal. So metal also is wealth element, right? So actually it's already confirmed to you the earth are much the wealth element are much stronger inside. Okay, it's very clear, this chart. Yeah, there are no confusion to it. Okay, cool. So this is the first point I want to share with you. So the thing here is like this: reading the chart is easy, right? It's not hard. The hard part is how do you convert this into action, right? Do you realize that reading chart is not hard one, but after you read the chart, whether you're going to do something about it, that one is harder, right? A lot of people say, okay, I know how to read the chart. They want to be accurate. So what? Yeah, in the end, you don't take any action. Yeah, knowing how to read the chart doesn't actually beneficial to you at all, right? Make it worse because you know something but you didn't do it, And the moment things happen, you only live with regret, right? So now you know this. Don't you think it's the right time for you to think about, something you can do while you're at home and generating money? All right. So that's the first homework for you, to all of you here today. Okay.